am Judge Walker, and today we will be entering the court case of Constitution versus Anti-Federalists. The Constitution will be represented by Alexander Hamilton, with John Hancock being the lead prosecutor. We are here today because the Anti-Federalists are accusing the Constitution of betraying the fundamental values of the Revolution in 1776. We will begin with an introductory statement by the prosecutors. John Hancock, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Constitution betrays the principles of our great revolution in 1776 due to tremendous amounts of people being oppressed during the 18th and 19th century. Its easily corruptible nature by merchants and elite, and its lack of a Bill of Rights. By representing only a single class of citizens, this piece of propaganda undermines the lives of other minorities.
Objection!
Overruled.
Furthermore, it aids in consolidating the power and wealth of the elites while leaving unprotected the common folk who make up the backbone of our new nation.
The Constitution is overshadowing the lives of slaves, women, and indigenous people. You, the creators of the Constitution, love the idea of liberty, but that liberty is only for white male Americans. Madison, in the Federalist Paper number 55, you say that a small group of representatives is necessary for a functioning republic. The people have voiced their concerns about how dangerous it is for only a small number of people to be in power, because they may not be knowledgeable enough on the problems that face the locals, and those representatives will be unsympathetic to the mass of the people. This is seen in your soon-to-be voting rights, where your term, other people, refers to the slaves, who will only get 3/5 of the representation in a population. Even worse, women, indigenous peoples won't have any representation at all.
Just like Congressman Lexington Smith of New York claimed, this Constitution will easily fall prey to the rich and elite who greedily seek to consolidate their power, the common folk at the mercy of the well-born. Our nation might be considered a nation of farmers, but that doesn't mean we lack the elite that we know so well from our old sovereign Britain. The people who will be chosen for our Congress will only be the rich and powerful, and therefore the elected officials will be able to, and will, increase the power of their own class.
Thank you, Mr. Hancock. Alexander, you may now speak.
Our newly created Constitution is not only in alignment with the Revolution, but expands upon it by fixing its weaknesses, namely mob rule, a lack of strong central government, and factionalism, all of which creates oppression of the minorities. We did this through an elaborate form of checks and balances, and separation of powers that prevent any one group from gaining too much control and imposing tyranny. Your Honor, before the Revolution, we saw horrible acts of tyranny against our people. Unfair taxation, being forced to house soldiers, bans on trade which crippled our economy. The worst sin of them all was our lack of representation. We couldn't make any impact on policies that affected us. With our new form of government, we have fixed all these issues. All policies will be decided on by representatives of the people. If the people are not happy, they can peacefully and in an orderly manner dispose of any tyrannical representatives. Through our elaborate systems of checks and balances, no one person or group will be able to take over our government and turn it into an oppressive regime. We have been diligent students of history and observers of the current political situation in order to make this document. We have seen mob rule risen numerous times within the last few years, which our Constitution fixes. We have seen how ancient democracies and republics, the likes of Greece and Rome, have fallen, which our Constitution fixes.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Now, I would like to allow the prosecutors to present their evidence in a civil manner.
Your Honor, I would like to bring Patrick Henry to the floor.
Of course.
Mr. Henry, did you or did you not say, "Give me liberty or give me death"?
Certainly.
Will you say that the new Constitution is representative of the freedoms that you and your fellow patriots fought and died for?
No!
Why not?
Well, when we were a part of the British Empire,
Language. Keep it civil, Mr. Henry.
we decided that we wanted to be free of those gosh darn redcoats to maintain our liberties and natural rights.
And what would you say is fundamental to sustaining this liberty?
We must have the liberties of the people clearly outlined, written down as an integral part of this new document. Otherwise, well, we might go back to the absolute despotic tyranny of, please excuse me, King George.
Mr. Henry, this is your last warning. Continue.
If we don't receive this statement of our liberty, then you might as well give us death.
You may sit down, Mr. Henry. Honorable Judge, as you can clearly see, the lack of any sort of Bill of Rights in this document is a major flaw. How can the Constitution claim to protect and allow for the people's liberty without such a paper?
Thank you, Mr. Adams. You make a valid point. Now, I invite the defense to present their evidence.
Your Honor, I'd like to now bring James Madison to the stand to testify.
You may proceed.
Mr. Madison, what inspired you in creating the Constitution?
History! Firstly, the Iroquois Grant Law of Peace, where a constitution was established between 5 Iroquois-speaking tribes, uniting them to put an end to years of bloody battles, as well as many ideas expressed by Greek and Roman philosophers in history.
Your Honor, as myself and John Jay wrote in the Federalist Papers 1 through 6, our ideas were heavily influenced by Greek and Roman philosophers, namely Cicero.
Virtue may be defined in a few words to be right reason itself, while vice includes all the turbid and violent motions of the mind.
As Cicero said, we need virtuous lives led by reason, not by passion. Mr. Madison, are there any specific events that make you believe that the Constitution was necessary?
As I wrote in Federalist Papers 55, if every Athenian citizen had been Socrates, every Athenian assembly would still have been a mob. The government is a reflection of human nature and would not be necessary if men were perfect. As shown in Shay's Rebellion of 1786, the violent insurrection led by Daniel Shay to protest the court seizing farmers' land with an inability to pay increasingly state taxes. Mob rule would be detrimental to our nation, and the Constitution prescribes a solution of checks and balances.
We have observed that with events like Shay's Rebellion, the Articles of Confederation are too weak, and we are descending into mob rule, in which people's rationalities are overruled by emotions. This causes oppressions of the minority.
Thank you, Hamilton. Now, can we have the prosecution do the opening statement?
As has been clearly demonstrated, the Constitution is in flagrant disregard of the revolutionary ideals that we held so dear. Its oppression of anyone other than white property-owning men, its easily corruptible nature by the elites, and first and foremost, its lack of a Bill of Rights clearly demonstrates that the Constitution betrays your principles of 1776.
Thank you. Now the defendants?
Your Honor, I would like to bring my argument to a close. The Constitution follows the spirit of the Revolution of 1776 because it brings power to the people while preventing mob rule, factionalism, and the associated oppression of minorities through a detailed systems of checks and balances and separated branch of government. We have united our nation under the strongest form of government conceivable, and we will reign liberty to all citizens of America.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Folks, I now bring our court case to the end. We have heard great arguments from both sides, and it is now time for the final verdict. In the case of the Constitution vs. Anti-Federalists, I wrote the Constitution not guilty of betraying the principles of 1776. However, as a concession, I require the Constitution to add a Bill of Rights to ensure liberty for all free citizens.
Woo!